When are you gonna talk with Trump on Wednesday?
Watching someone in their 80s struggle with balance like this, I think raises some flags. A smooth, coordinated gait is actually a great indicator of neurological health. When someone starts to lose that, it's often tied to changes in things like strength, coordination, and maybe even cognition. Throughout the course of this presidency, we have seen numerous videos of Mr. Biden that are what I would consider means for concern, this one being the most recent. In a systematic review that was published last year, they compiled data from 32 separate studies that examined the association between balance and cognitive function in healthy adults over 60 years of age. And they said that the findings in this review showed a consistent positive association between cognitive domains and balance. The reviewed evidence shows that individuals with better balance perform better in assessments of global cognition, executive function, and processing speed. Now, why would that be? Well, for one, many of the regions within the brain that are associated with balance and cognitive function overlap, meaning when one suffers, you will likely also notice impairments in the other, which can turn a casual stroll into a bit of an obstacle course. On top of that, maintaining balance, especially while walking, requires ongoing processing of sensory input from vision, proprioception, and your vestibular system. This is a very demanding process, often requiring dual tasking, where your brain manages both walking and paying attention to your surroundings. But for those with cognitive decline, this dual tasking becomes harder because the brain's ability to process and integrate information from multiple inputs slows. And now, when exposed to balance challenges, such as an uneven ground like walking on sand, can become sluggish, leading to a higher risk of stumbles and falls. In a normal, healthy individual, when walking, your body relies most heavily on proprioception. Proprioception being all the feedback from your muscles and tendons and joints that provide a constant sense of where each part of your body is, enabling a smoother, more automated movement. But when walking on sand, all of a sudden the surface in which you're walking on is now unstable. And again, in an ideal situation, your brain will then become more reliant on another system to make up for the fact that that proprioception cannot be trusted at that moment. And if that were to happen, your stroll through the sand would appear more like the First Lady as compared to what we see with the President. And if that sounds concerning, add in the fact that the First Lady is just calmly strolling along like nothing's happening. No handout, no concerned look back, just la di da, same old, same old. It's almost as if she's familiar with this scenario, suggesting that these gait issues might not just be a bad day at the beach for the president. When it starts becoming normal to not offer a hand, I at least start to think that we're witnessing more than just Mr. Biden trying to invent a new dance move. I think it might be time to face some uncomfortable truths. Regardless of your political affiliation, watching a sitting president's cognitive and physical decline so publicly should make us pause. And I think it's unsettling to hear dismissive responses from those closest to him say things like this.
When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And
but,
Donald Trump
but
is.
you talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said
and
within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump.
The vice president's comments sidestepping concerns only makes this more disturbing. To downplay or ignore clear signs of decline feels less like support and more like exploitation. Allowing a person in visible decline to be paraded through such a demanding role, I think, speaks to deeper issues.